Is this man-made underground complex a million years old? We even found prehistoric tire tracks in granite stone. More evidence of ancient technology. Now, while most researchers and scholars around the globe agree that human civilization as we know it has only existed for some 12,000 years on our planet, this is all of course theoretical, there are countless discoveries that point towards a much different past. There are many findings ranging from temples, structures, and artifacts that are evidence of advanced civilizations that inhabited Earth much sooner than mainstream scholars suggest. But many of these incredible findings have been considered as impossible due to the fact that they alter our written history timeline in every possible way. In recent years, many scholars have started looking at the history of the civilization on Earth with an open mind. One of those researchers, without a doubt, is Dr. Alexander Koltypin, a geologist and director of the Natural Science Research Center at Moscow's International Independent University of Ecology and Politology. During his long career, Dr. Koltypin studied numerous ancient underground structures, mainly in the Mediterranean, and has identified numerous similarities which have led him to believe that many sites were interconnected, but most incredibly, the weathering of the structures together with their material composition and extreme geological features led him to believe these megastructures were built by advanced civilizations. Kindly support my Patreon account since YouTube has again demonetized my YouTube channel. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below. Built by ancient advanced civilizations that existed on Earth millions of years ago. Writing on his website, Dr. Koltypin states this: "When we examined the constructions, none of us never for a moment had a doubt that they are much older than the ruins of the Canaanite, Philistine, Hebraic, Roman, Byzantine, and other cities and settlements that are placed on it and around it." During his travels in the Mediterranean, Dr. Koltypin was able to accurately record the features present in different ancient sites, something that allowed him to compare afterwards their incredible similarities and details, which tell an incredible alternative history that one has been firmly rejected by mainstream scholars. Well, the evidence, of course, doesn't lie. Dr. Koltypin argues that mainstream archaeologists who work in the region are used to dating sites by looking at the sediment of rock, debris, and the strata of each earth located on them or in their vicinity. However, some dates were applied when in fact the actual sites were much older prehistoric structures. While traveling near the Hurvat Burjin ruins in Adullam Grove Nature Reserve, central Israel, Dr. Koltypin recalled a similar feeling when he climbed on the top of the rock city Kavusin in Turkey. Almost a deja vu feeling, Dr. Koltypin said this: "I was personally convinced once again, in the first time the same feeling came to me after I climbed to the top of the rock city Kavusin in Cappadocia, Turkey, that all these rectangular indentations, man-made underground structures, and scattered debris of megaliths were one underground terrestrial megalithic complex, which was opened by erosion to a depth of several hundred meters." So Cappadocia was not built above ground. It was much older underground structures, and by erosion, the material around it was swamped away. Now, in his work, Dr. Koltypin urges that not all parts of the giant complex are located underground. There are some parts that have come above ground due to geological shifts that have occurred throughout the history of our planet, where Dr. Koltypin includes the incredibly rocky towns of Cappadocia in modern-day Turkey. He said, "On this basis, we can conclude that the underground cities of Cappadocia, including Tat Larin Rock City, intended for the accommodation of the ordinary population, and the rock city of Kavusin, or parts of it, was the residence of kings of the underground. The kings of the underground. Though almost nothing is known about subterranean cities, nevertheless we can assume that people who built the underground cities, even if they were men, were sun worshippers preferring the religion of sun gods, that is, harmony in life by divine principles and nature's laws. And after many thousands or millions of years, this religion had become a basis of the Christian religion. This is what Dr. Alexander Koltypin says. Koltipin continues explaining that certain sites in central and northern Israel and central Turkey were exposed after cutting into the ground some 100 meters down, that's 300 feet down. He said, he wrote in his website, according to my estimates, such depth of erosion could hardly be formed in less timeline than 500,000 to a million years. Dr. Koltypin suggests that certain parts of the complex surface as a result of mountain formation process. According to his estimates, there is evidence to support that the composition of building material found on the site in Antalia, Turkey, referred to by Dr. Koltypin as Cleave site, were up to 1 million years old, even though mainstream scholars refuse to accept the age, proposing instead that the site dates back to the Middle Ages only. Dr. Koltypin further adds that as a result of Earth's crust moving throughout the centuries, parts of the underground complex were plunged into the sea. Practically, he said, in all the studies underground constructions of Israel and in the majority of underground constructions of Turkey, sediments of lithified, hard and calcareous clay deposits were widely developed on their floor. So in other words, clay deposits, very old, on the floor of these areas. Now, returning to the subject, Dr. Koltypin suggests that the similarity seen in numerous megalithic ruins is evidence of the profound connection present in ancient sites, which were connected as one giant prehistoric complex. According to Dr. Koltypin, numerous megalithic blocks weighing tens of tons could have been directly attached to underground complexes in the distant past. He said, this circumstance gave me a reason to call the underground structures and geographically related ruins of Cyclopean walls and buildings as a single underground terrestrial megalithic complex. This is what he wrote in his website. He further adds that the megalithic construction, which is seen in all corners of the world, seemed to surpass by far the technological capabilities of ancient civilizations who, according to mainstream scholars, built them. Making reference to the technological capabilities of the ancients, Dr. Koltypin states, the stones fit together perfectly in some parts without cement, and the ceilings, columns, arches, gates, and other elements seem beyond the work of men with chisels. Adding to the mystery of these incredible sites, Dr. Koltypin notes that structures built on top of or near sites by the Romans or other civilizations are completely primitive. And then there's these mysterious tracks left behind advanced technology millions of years ago. These tracks are from pictures of Dr. Alexander Koltypin again. Many researchers believe that there are several pieces of evidence pointing towards the existence of highly advanced ancient technology from these civilizations that existed on Earth millions of years ago. So obviously now, looking at this picture, it's really mysterious because these tracks look as if they had gone through something very soft, like, for example, soft clay or soft mud, and it has turned to granite. Now, Dr. Alexander Koltypin believes that the mysterious markings that existed along the Pergian Valley in central Turkey were made by an intelligent race between 12 million and 14 million years ago. He said, we can assume that ancient vehicles with wheels were driven into the soft ground, perhaps a wet surface, said the geologist, because of the great weight of these vehicles. They left behind very deep grooves, which eventually petrified and turned into evidence. Geologists are familiar with such phenomenon as they found petrified footprints of dinosaurs that were preserved in the same way. Together with 3 colleagues, Dr. Koltypin, director of the Natural Science Scientific Research Center at Moscow's International Independence Ecological Political University, traveled to the site in Anatolia, Turkey, where these markings can be found. Upon returning from his trip, he described the observed as petrified tracking ruts in rocky tufaceous made from compacted volcanic ash deposits. So it's made from volcanic ash deposits. Now I said it was granite. No, it's not. I'm sorry. It's from petrified volcanic ash deposits. So who knows how old this thing? He says it's, as a geologist that he is, he says it's 12 to 14 million years old. This is from Humans Are Free. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support.